Hello, my dear language learning masters. How are you doing today? Good? Well, welcome back to Natural Languages, where you're going to learn how you can learn any language while enjoying the process every step of the way. And today I'm bringing you one more research to help you learn Spanish on your own at home while enjoying the process every step of the way, like I said. All right. And well, first of all, I'd say this is an intermediate research, okay? But as usual, um, actually, here you have the list of the 10 keys to learning any language. And remember that key number one is comprehensible input. You know, that's the most important thing to understand how the language process works. So if you understand what you're listening to, you're learning the language. It's that simple. So based on that, based on that, remember that give any resource a try. And if you can understand it and you enjoy it, awesome, go ahead with it. Watch, I don't know, 1,000 episodes or as many as you want. All right. And if you cannot understand it, or if you cannot understand the message, just try something easier and you'll get back. That specific resource will eventually be comprehensible later on in the future. Okay. And so why am I saying that? Because I'm trying to break them down approximately by beginner, researchers, intermediate, and advanced. Okay. But don't be afraid to give them a try, even if I'm telling you that this is an intermediate resource and you're a beginner. Just give it a try. And if you cannot understand it, no big deal. That's actually normal. So keep enjoying other simpler resources, all right? And you'll get back there later on. So yeah. So I want to be clear on that. Yeah. And then today I want to today I want to tell you about a very interesting resource, actually, and a resource that I've started to realize recently that it's actually way more appropriate for language learning than I thought. All right, and yeah, I'm going to tell you what it is and why in a moment. All right, perfect. So this resource is podcasts. And to be honest, initially I thought podcasts, were not the most appropriate resource when it came to language learning because you actually don't have a visual action to help you understand the meaning, right? Like in a documentary or a series or even a comic where you have pictures, right? So initially I thought, they're not that interesting. But recently I've been using them myself for other languages, and I realized that one, they tend to speak a little bit clearer, a little bit more clear than usual, all right? Because this is like a radio show, like in which spectators don't have access to any visual action. So all they have to rely on is their listening comprehension, right? So I've realized in general, people making podcasts make an effort to speak a bit more clear than usual. All right. So that helps a lot when it comes to learning language, right? And then second of all, podcasts, there's so many podcasts out there right now that, whatever the topic you're interested in, you're going to be able to find podcasts in your target language. I mean, in Spanish, we're talking about Spanish, you're going to be able to find podcasts in Spanish. If you're trying to learn a not so common language, you may have to, spend some time researching, all right? But in Spanish, you're not going to have any issues to find podcasts that talk about the specific topic that you're interested in, all right? And and I also want to show you a couple of little tricks, all right, or little hints or ideas, so the experience for you can even be more useful. Okay. Let me show you my screen, and you'll see what I mean. Okay. So actually, what you can do is you go to Google and type mejores podcasts de historia, for example, right? Historia, naturaleza, geografía, football, whatever topic. And of course, you'll have, a list of podcasts, and, you'll have plenty of websites that will tell you different podcasts that you can enjoy about your favorite topic. All right. But there's one little trick that you can use. You can actually go to YouTube, and, same thing. You can just type in podcast de historia, podcast de fútbol, podcast de naturaleza, podcast de pintura, yeah, whatever you're interested in. All right. And the good thing about YouTube is you have the, if I click on this one, for example, it's going to be the same as if you were listening to the actual podcast, right? But the good thing about YouTube is you have the option to slow down the pace, which can actually make the difference here. You go to settings, speed, and here, you have all these options, but you can actually customize it or personalize it. So it's not that weird, because if you go with 0.5, for instance, if it's going to be slow enough for you to understand, but it's not going to be natural. They're going to speak like that, So actually, you can just go to your customized or personalized option, and you can go with, I usually go with 0.9, 0.95. Yeah. I use this with Polish a lot, all right? And yeah, just 0.95, 0.9. It's gonna slow down the pace a little bit, just enough for your comprehension to be better, but while keeping it natural at the same time. Okay. So that's a trick. That's a trick that actually works really well. And yeah, so I'll get back to normal. And yeah, one more little trick that, it's not really a trick, but I've realized when listening to a podcast, when watching a series or whatever it is, if I'm using headphones, actually my comprehension goes up a little bit, because, I don't know what the specific reason is, but I guess you're more focused on what's going on, or you're not worried about background noise or whatever. Actually, in general, I can understand way more when I'm using headphones as opposed to not using them. Okay. So just little tricks, but as everything I'm talking about, just give them a try. All right. If they work for you, great. If not, no big deal, like I said. But I think especially this little trick of slowing down the pace is going to be really useful, believe me. So yeah, that's it. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And like I said, this is meant for beginners. This is meant for intermediate and advanced, of course. But if you're a beginner, or you're like pretty close to getting to intermediate level, this is always approximate, right? But give it a try. You may slow down the pace a little bit, and you may realize that all of a sudden it becomes comprehensible. So you actually have access to one more interesting resource that you can use to keep improving, right? So yeah, just as usual, give it a try, and yeah. And actually let me know in the comment section below if this was interesting for you, if it worked for you, if you found any specific podcast on your favorite topic that you want to share with us so you can help other people, all right? Or if you're, you just can go to Google or YouTube, but if you're interested in any specific topic, let me know as well, and I'll be happy to help you find podcasts or resources, all right? And yeah, that's it for today, guys. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.